Not too long ago, the Clippers were the hottest ticket in the NBA. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and the rest of the crew. Lob City. Unfortunately, with all that talent, they never could get past the second round. The Clippers are the first NBA team ever to blow a playoff series lead in 5 straight years. And the worst one was in 2015 when they blew a 3-1 lead against the Houston Rockets. It seemed like Blake Griffin and Chris Paul always had an injury during the playoff to kill their dreams of advancing past the second round and possibly getting to the NBA Finals. With all this misfortune, it's hard for anybody to deny that the Clippers' curse is real. After signing Blake Griffin to a massive contract last summer, as they claimed him to be the franchise player and a Clipper for life, they traded him mid-season to Detroit for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, and a couple of other guys. Their plan all along was to at least get something for him instead of letting him leave for nothing. The great Jerry West was hired as a consultant for the Clippers, but everybody knows he will have way more input than a normal consultant. This is the guy who made the deal to get Kobe Bryant in the Lakers jersey, and when he was with the Warriors, threatened to quit if Klay Thompson was traded for Kevin Love. Having him with the organization is a plus, and he could be the key to getting Kawhi Leonard next summer, which is their ultimate goal. Lob City is dead, and the Clippers have started over and will try to remake their roster over the next couple of years. This team dealt with a number of injuries throughout the season, and despite that and the trade of Blake Griffin, they played good basketball for most of the season. Nobody expected this team to be in playoff contention during the last month of the season. 6th Man of the Year Lou Williams had his best season of his career as he set career highs in points, threes, and assists. He scored double digits 78 times and scored 20 or more 50 times. He even put up 50 against the Warriors as the Clippers got a win over them for the first time in a long time. I believe he should have been selected to his first All-Star game last season. The Clippers signed him to a 3-year, $24 million extension during the season, but it's hard to tell if they really signed him to be a part of the future or just positioning themselves for a trade in the future like they did Blake Griffin. Another player who had one of his best seasons is Tobias Harris. Harris is a polished offensive player who can play the 3 or the 4. He is an effective player in just about every facet of the game. He set career highs in scoring, rebounds, and 3-pointers, and also shot a blazing 41% from 3. You could argue that he's just as effective on the court as Blake Griffin is at this point. Harris' style of play is much easier to incorporate on offense in today's NBA. An injury ended Avery Bradley's season after just being acquired from the Pistons as he missed the final 26 games of the season. They ended up re-signing Bradley to a 2-year, $25 million contract this offseason. Even though his play declined last season, Bradley is still a good defender and has improved as a shooter over the last couple of years. A lot of good players ended up signing for less this offseason due to the lack of teams with money to spend this offseason. It was clear that the Clippers didn't want to sign DeAndre Jordan to a big contract and tried to work out a trade before free agency started. But nothing happened, and DeAndre ended up opting out and signing with the Dallas Mavericks. The coach's son, Austin Rivers, surprisingly got traded this summer as they were looking for a big man to replace DeAndre Jordan and Marcin Gortat. Gortat is nothing more than a stopgap at the center position. I think I saw a report that Gortat is planning on retiring after his contract is up. The Clippers needed to win big in the draft this year, and I believe they did with at least one of their first-round picks. The Clippers ended up agreeing with a draft day trade with the Hornets to acquire one of the best point guard prospects in the draft, Gilgeous-Alexander. I definitely believe he could be the best point guard in this draft class. This guy has no glaring weaknesses in his game. He's an improving scorer, a good facilitator, and has the potential to be a lockdown defender in this league. With Patrick Beverley coming back from nearly missing the whole season and Milos Teodosic, I don't see Gilgeous-Alexander getting a ton of minutes at the start of the season. But eventually Doc Rivers needs to give him minutes at some point during the season. It'll be a failure on the franchise to not give this guy legit minutes when he's ready to contribute from the jump. Gilgeous-Alexander is a mature player for his age and plays under control and plays at his own pace. Their second first-round pick was the scorer from Boston College, Jerome Robinson. Robinson lit it up in his junior season from everywhere on the court. He's a 3-level scorer with good size and whose game should translate easily to the NBA. Both him and Gilgeous-Alexander have proven vets in front of them, so it'll be tough for them to get legit playing time in their rookie years. with Lou Williams and Bradley, it's almost certain Robinson won't play that much this upcoming season. The Clippers have a lot of solid players on their bench this season, as they brought back big man Montrezl Harrell, who is coming off a good year. The Clippers signed forwards Mike Scott and Luc Richard Baamute to join their loaded bench, which includes Lou Williams, Beverley Artiatosic, Wesley Johnson, Sindarius Thornwell, and Boban Marjanovic. Doc Rivers has a tough job trying to figure out his rotation on the bench. You can make a case for at least 7 to 8 players that should be getting minutes off the bench. After they traded Blake Griffin, it seemed that the Clippers played a little better and more consistent. Less expectations could have played a big part in their play down the stretch of the season. I expect that same type of play this upcoming season. But at the same time, a lot of teams in the West got better this offseason, and it will be difficult for the Clippers to compete for a playoff spot this season. They will be just as competitive this season as they were last year, but too many other teams have gotten better, and the Clippers will fall short to make the playoffs for the second year in a row.